How long has it been since I've done one of these? It's the weekly challenge. We're going to be taking a look at it. It's Lakeside Getaway, which I remember being a very interesting set of missions with a really interesting aesthetic as well. I'm going to go to skip so that we are jumping the missions all at once. Dump site, kill all walkers. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because somebody asked why they didn't get the maximum amount of stars, even though they finished all of the missions in the weekly event. I think they may not have done this. Used the star hero. So every week there's going to be, it comes up straight away when you load into the game. Star hero, they get an extra star, but also look at that at the bottom, +1 bonus star if used as leader in challenge. So I think this is probably why the person who was asking wasn't getting the maximum amount of stars. Always have your star hero as the leader. Normally I'd go through the weapons and everything that I'm using, but that's not massively important. Let's just get straight into it. I'm bringing Glenn and Maggie along because they're my farming team. Glenn, of course, when you make kills, you get supplies, and I need supplies. Maggie, she's actually quite powerful now that she's got an heirloom attached to her, which can ignite enemies. But also, we get more XP if we make a kill with her. Looks like we've already got double XP for this week as well for events and kills. So let's make the most of that. Glenn will actually benefit from Rosita's leadership trait as well. All melee characters. It's a whole thing about getting extra attacks, basically. Maggie won't because she's ranged. But these early levels, just be able to breeze through these. Didn't even have time to talk about the mission there. It looks like a small number of walkers comes out of various places during the mission. Don't get surrounded. On higher levels, things like ensnare, cripple, they're going to be useful. If you're finding it tough to actually kill the walkers, if it's getting to the point where they're taking good time to kill, never sleep on incendiary. Being able to set walkers alight is an absolute joy. I use it all the time in things like Last Stand. The walkers could be so tough. They've got tons and tons of hit points. They're hard to hurt. It might take a long time for the fire to actually cut them down, but every single turn you're causing consistent damage. Incendiary should never be underestimated as a trait for your weapons. The garden opened the gate. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep with this. Again, I'm bringing Glenn and Maggie for their farming abilities. Glenn for his chance to get supplies, and Maggie for that extra XP. Glenn, however, actually, I think Rosita would be a good one to open that door. And I think that's probably going to spark walkers. Yeah, there we go. So we can see that these are speedies. Not having too much of a drama killing them off here, but of course that will change as the difficulty increases. It's always worth bearing in mind that we've got a gate, we've got something that somebody's got to interact with for several turns. Now, if that was a ranged character and you had Yumiko on your team, Yumiko, of course, being absolutely one of the best survivors in this game anyway, at least when you're using a ranged team, that person who is engaged with the gate will turn around and shoot if they can see and are in range of whatever Yumiko is shooting at. So that's a good tip. You might be able to just stop these walkers from getting to you in those 4 turns that it takes to open the gate. Remember, our mission is not to kill all the walkers, it is to open that gate and get out. So you don't necessarily have to kill the walkers, just have to stop them from reaching you. Using stun grenades to shove them back. Weapons with ensnare and cripple, very, very useful. Of course, it's worth bearing in mind that we've got a seasonal event on. The weekly challenge is one of the very easy ways that you can get seasonal event tokens. All you got to do is get 610 stars in total. That's really just a skip through the entire playlist. One run through of all of the missions, and you get the maximum amount of seasonal event tokens that you can get from the weekly challenge. Kill the boss walker. We've had we've had threats on all of the missions so far. Looks like we're including that here as well. So obviously if we're shooting with the likes of Maggie, we're making a lot of noise. There's lots of ways to negate threat, or at the very least lots of weapons that don't cause threat. If that is something that you particularly value, you can of course re-roll the traits on weapons as well as armor now. And it's situational because not every mission has a threat counter, but for the ones that do, it can really save you bacon to just be able to reduce, or at the very least not cause more threat, thereby making more walkers come in. This one can be fairly simple. It can get tougher on the harder missions, of course, on the harder difficulties. Your mission is to kill those special walkers. You'll be able to tell because there is sort of like a throbbing kind of red outline above their class type. That's how you can tell which the targets are. You just got to kill those targets. You can sneak by or rush past the other walkers, get to the end. Really, you just got to focus on that mission objective. It's easy to get distracted and think that you've got to wipe the board clear of everything that you see in front of you, but that's not necessarily the best way. Loot the boxes and get out. Now this is somewhere where Glenn might come in useful. I'm gonna just do a swap. Let's just have a quick detour to this weapon. So this is kind of handy. There you go. This is a good way of slipping past the enemy. Something that I also like to do. Oh gosh. Okay, I've got to swap back to a lower graded weapon so that I can put that in Beth's hands and I can swap weapons with her. This is a great choice as well. You gain an action point after killing something. You can really turn Glenn into a movement monster. Obviously, after he searches a crate, he can still have an action. These are glowing red. Now that means that something is going to happen when we interact with those objects. Glenn, I think, is actually not a good choice. I've picked him, of course, as I said, because of his ability to generate supplies, which I need at the moment. But he's a good choice for this particular mission anyway, because we can do things like this. Have lots and lots of action points left. And what you're going to want to do, maybe as it gets tougher, is you're going to want to take these boxes on one at a time, clear what's in front of you, then move on to the next box. Patience. Don't rush. There is a threat counter there again. So I'd really be eyeing those, characters who can carry weapons or otherwise reduce threat, because that could be very, very useful. Fewer walkers you have around you, the easier the mission is. I mean, this is pretty, it might seem like pretty standard advice, but these questions do get asked. And I've definitely known people to get through the missions easier if they keep it in mind, like, hang on a minute, what's the actual objective? What do I have to do to clear this mission? Instead of trying to just cuss way through every single walker that they see. Pile of fire, blow up the pile of walkers. If you say so. Okay. So we've got this to interact with. So what we can do is we could use a scout. Oh, we can get straight to that thing right away. Now it looks like melee classes are not, might not seem initially like the best choice here, because we're having to rush up to them instead of letting them come to us. If they were coming to us, we could use weapons with ensnare and cripple and the like, and we would be able to slow these guys down. I think the Rosita is maybe a pretty good choice here. Don't forget that you've got supports like Dog on missions like this. Seems like such a simple, sort of unspectacular ability to just slow down some walkers for a turn, but it can save your life. It really can. We do have a threat counter here, so running theme in all of these missions, threat counters equals more walkers, and that's bad. But I think that I think I like that idea, and you can see where I positioned him as well in the roster. He was in the middle. So if you have a scout, or I think shooters move as fast as scouts now, so you could have one of those in the middle instead, and you can just start working on that problem immediately. The person who is setting the charges is going to be virtually defenseless. But if they are a ranged character and you have Yumiko, they can help by lending their firepower to the team when Yumiko shoots, as mentioned before. Are we back to the start? Find the loot and get out. I don't think we've done this one yet. Did we do this one? Oh, I can't remember. Let's do it again anyway. I was too busy talking. I wasn't really paying attention, I guess, to what missions I was actually doing. But if we go here, Glenn, again, actually a good choice because of his lucky dumpster, which of course was a fan favorite in the show as well. You know, when they did the Glenn fake out death, and everyone thought it was amazing. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend bringing Glenn on these kinds of missions. You're going to clear any of these kinds of search the loot boxes, any of those kinds of missions. He's always a really good choice. Plus, it's Glenn, fan favorite, right? Time until loot keys refresh. Okay, I'm waiting for those couple of seconds because we've actually got a chance to get some golds here. May as well take it. Oh, you son of a... Okay, never mind. Fine. That's worth noting that happens. I should have quit out, come back in, let it reset, and then maybe I could have unlocked. Oh no, that wouldn't have worked. Never mind. Anyway, those are all of the missions on Lakeside. I don't think there's too much more to say about it. It's a fun set of missions. It is. I think one of the key takeaways is Glenn. It's going to be very useful on some of these missions. And try not to make any noise, or otherwise reduce the threat, and that will make things easier. If you've got any specific problems on any of the missions, do let me know, because either me or some other very lovely members of the community are bound to be able to help you. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.